So, apparently, 2 or so years ago, Pixar had an executive board meeting where they were like, okay, guys, we know everyone is waiting for us to start production on Incredibles 2. However, let's give the people what they really want. Cars 3. So yeah, I guess now we have Cars 3, which is the third installment of, and hopefully final installment of a series that has had its ups and downs, to say the least. The first Cars movie was a simple and heartfelt story, and it was great. It was good for what it was. It wasn't the best Pixar movie, but the second Cars movie was by far Pixar's worst movie, and now we have Cars 3, where Lightning McQueen is basically in his last days as a racer. He's far removed from his rookie days where he was just sweeping the competition, and it's not so much that Lightning's just getting slow and old, it's mostly that the competition is stepping up its game. So there's a new, faster generation of race cars led by one called Jackson Storm. Yeah, they're really playing with those weather metaphor, whatever. Anyway, there's this new car specifically that's kind of like the pioneer race car of the next generation. He starts sweeping up Lightning, and Lightning starts to realize, man, maybe it's time to retire. Maybe it's time to hang it up. And it's not like he wants to. He wants to keep racing, but that's what the media is trying to keep telling him to do. So now he meets a new sponsor, and he strikes a deal with his new sponsor saying, okay, if I lose this next huge race, you win, I'm going to retire, I'm going to hang it up. So it's basically like, they address this in the movie. It's basically trying to tell a comeback story, essentially. So starting off, what I liked about Cars 3 is that it's absolutely gorgeous. The animation, when the racing is going down, it's fast, it's intense, you're into it, and it looks phenomenal. I remember this one scene in the movie where Lightning goes to train on this beach, and it looks so real. I've been spending a lot of time on beaches this year, so I know. And it looks so real. I had to turn to my friend in the theater. I was like, that's real. That's not animated. That's real. That, I don't know if they took photos of a real beach and CGI'd the cars in the background, but that looks incredible. So yeah, I love the animation and the racing. I also love how much the voice cast also shines this time around. Owen Wilson does a great job portraying Lightning McQueen once again. They gave a lot of homage to the original via Paul Newman. So Doc Hudson was a very, very important character in the first Cars movie, and shortly after the first Cars movie released, the actor who played Doc, he tragically passed away. And they also acknowledge that in the universe, so his character is also passed away in the movie, and you can see how that affects them, you can see how it affects Lightning, and it definitely feels like a worthy Cars sequel. From the first 5 minutes of this movie, you're like, okay, this is not Cars 2, this is just like the first one, I'm liking it. So yeah, that's why I like, there's a lot of minor characters and minor jokes that poke fun and continue the running gags of the first film, where if you like the first film, you're like, yeah, I'm glad that's in there. So yeah, they definitely paid, it definitely feels like a satisfying follow-up and sequel to the first Cars movie. I also like the voice cast. Owen Wilson does a great job. I also like Cristela Alonso as Cruz Ramirez, which is Lightning McQueen's trainer for the big race. She did a great job in the movie. And I also liked it's so funny seeing the parallels between the Cars world and the human world as far as sports go. As a huge sports fan myself, they make a lot of funny jokes about just how people move on in sports, and once they're done with their career, what they do after. A lot of funny jokes with that. A lot of funny jokes regarding how old Lightning supposedly is in this movie, which were really great. So yeah, great homage. It's also a very satisfying story. It wraps up really well. So towards the end of this movie, when he's gearing up for the final race and all, I'm like, okay, this is gonna play out like this, and then we're gonna have this type of ending. And then Pixar surprised me, and I was like, whoa, that's very good. I did not expect this plot to go that direction, so it was very satisfying for me, having liked the first Cars movie. I think the plot is definitely a lot more geared towards adults in this one. Cars 2 was just that spy BS, that whatever they were doing for the kids. This movie is definitely about slowing down and trying to hit the adults. As far as what I didn't like about Cars 3, the second act is so painfully slow. dull, bad humor. After Lightning meets his sponsor and he starts his training for the big race, he starts going on these little mini soul-searching quests, as they usually do in these Kung Back movies, which they address. But yeah, it's painfully slow. It had trouble keeping my attention. It definitely had trouble keeping the 6-year-old's attention. But besides that second act where you really didn't know what they were going and it was just, the plot was really dragging, Cars 3 was a great time. It was fun. I'm gonna give it overall 3 out of 5 stars. Cars, the first one showed us how great the series could be, the second one showed us how bad it could be, and the third one was a good balance. 3 out of 5 stars. Alright guys, I'm Pac. Thanks so much for hearing my perspective, and I'm out for now.